What's up, everybody? Bad Gamer popping back in. How are you? Let me get my boy David unmuted. What's up, David? How's it going, bud?
I am doing great because we get to talk about Aquaman today, and there's great Aquaman news too. It's just a very good day for Aquaman.
It's a good day for Aquaman. You know what?
Did you hear about the DC news?
No, I did not. I am going to close my YouTube that I had going in the background there, just because I think it was taking up a lot of the what do you call it? The bandwidth, if you will.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. Hey, so we got some folks popping in for the first time chat. Galaxy Ashy Boy from Pittsburgh. Beach Reek Kid is here. What's up? How are you? Lem, you're awesome and we love you, man. Oh, thanks, Beastie. Paul, no, we said it was Faith in Film today because I am heading to Wichita, Kansas on Thursday. So today is Faith in Film. Tomorrow is Community Game Day. So when we have these days where I'm going to be out of town on Thursday, we push everything forward and we don't do Study Buddy. Yeah, I know it's not your first time, B Street Kid. I know it's not your first. We know you, Beastie. Come on, man. No, not Death Runs. Well, that's the thing. Death Runs is off the table. There's only 3 choices in the Discord, you guys. Only 3 choices in the Discord. Paul, can we get an exclamation point Discord for people to get to? Right now, the choices in the Discord, Layton! Yeah, it made me mad too, bro. The choices are Fortnite Battle Royale, Fortnite Save the World, and Rocket League. So those are the choices. All right, for those of you who are new here, this is Faith in Film, but if you were in Pittsburgh, you know how this works. If you were in Baltimore, you know how this works. If you've been here before, you know how this works. We look at movies and we decide and we ask the question, what does God have to say about, or what does the Bible say about this? All right, not Aquaman, because I don't believe the Bible has anything to say about Aquaman in particular, but it does have something to say about the themes that we find in and around Aquaman. And as tradition, I don't even know how this started, David. To tell you the truth, I don't know how this started. Everyone in the chat is eligible to win a PC game, but the person that comes the closest without going over with how much I've watched of the movie in this setting, I've seen all of Aquaman before. I just want to get that out there. I have seen all of Aquaman. All right. Gets a PC game. So, and you have to have your guess in by the end of the second point. Oh man, am I going crazy on your screen?
No, I see you just fine.
Okay. All right. So on my screen, it's like stuttering like crazy. It's like the old, yeah, it's nuts. I don't know if it's doing it on,
I got you up on Twitch too. You look fine.
Okay, cool. Right on. Then it's just my screen. Right on. I'm gonna look over here so I can see you. I'm not gonna look at this. I'm not looking at it because that's gonna freak me out. All right.
Yeah.
By the way, Paul, the word there before means before this setting. I could have watched the whole thing this setting because I know how much this movie means to David. And he has had so much faith in me in the past for some of these movies.
Plus, he had an extra week.
Plus, I had an extra week.
Which is why my guess comes in at 2 hours and 11 minutes. You watch the whole thing minus the post-credit scene.
All right, David says 2 hours, 11 minutes. And then Leighton said 47 minutes. Wouldn't you guys be shocked if I watched the whole thing? I mean, with
no,
credits,
because I'm a believer.
23 minutes.
Because I believe.
All right. So I have watched the whole thing before, and I may have watched the whole thing this time. You don't know. You can't look into my words. Bro, I'm ADHD.
It's so hard because every time I feel like there's a clue about how long you watched, the clue is completely wrong.
Right. So here's the thing. ADHD. I could have watched 5 minutes of it, or I could have been hyper-focused on every single thing. And watched the whole movie. I actually don't know because I've never watched it. I'm not proud of myself. Galaxy, yeah, she would. You should have watched it yesterday. Hey, no worries. We got plenty of stuff. Oh my gosh, I am looking at that screen. It is horrible. It is bad. You didn't see Lem yesterday. He was all over the place. I mean, maybe. But I did have time to go and look how many new followers we have from Quake Pittsburgh, and there are 6 people eligible to win from Quake Pittsburgh. Beastie says 37 minutes and 22 seconds.
I gotta check what's happening at that 1 second.
Ashy boy, you can guess as well if you'd like. I just want to make sure everybody's doing okay. What's going on at that exact time?
Pulling it up. 37:22, you said?
Yeah.
That would be. Atlantis sends all of the trash back to the surface.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Austin, what's up? Austin, do you have a guess? We're about to get into it. We haven't even hit our first one yet. And me asking what happened does not mean that I did not see that scene this time. It just means I don't know what happened at that exact time. Austin says 1 minute, 3 seconds, or an hour and 3 minutes. I got to know what that means. 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour, 3 minutes. Paul says 27
hour and 3
minutes.
minutes during the fight.
You got nothing? You can just guess. Galaxy, 2 hours. Galaxy says 2 hours.
Look at the title, Darth.
Still Aquaman? It should be. Yeah, we haven't done it. We haven't done it yet. Paul says 27 minutes. Darth says 17 and a half minutes. Darth is doing math. He's like, all right, on average, Lem does this. There was that one time.
That'd be an excellent strategy. There's gotta be somebody's gotta have a spreadsheet, right? Because at this point, you could get some real good data.
You could. You absolutely could. All right. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Partially because mine is kind of cheating, because mine isn't specifically about this movie. It's more just about like why I am so emphatic about this movie. Because you might have noticed I'm wearing colors, which is not a normal thing for me. I'm very much like
I noticed it as soon as he came in. I was like, bro, you got what? I've never seen that hat before.
Well, it's because the hat goes with my Aquaman jacket, which I love, as well as my Aquaman shoes and Aquaman socks.
He put on the whole armor of Aquaman.
And I got the trident back here,
Look at
which is very hard to
He's even
display.
got his sword. Beastie says he's definitely got a spreadsheet.
That whole glass case back there is just full of Aquamans.
Oh my goodness.
I love Aquaman. He's my guy. I love Aquaman so much. And the biggest reason as a kid was because of the... I think when you're a kid, the power fantasy is like a big draw for superheroes, right? Like,
right, absolutely.
Like, yeah, you love to watch Superman, Batman, whatever, punch stuff, right? For me, the thing that was so special about Aquaman was the punches that he didn't throw. Because...
Let's talk about it, bro. Hold up.
Yeah. So, the land does not take Aquaman seriously. For most of my life, I have known so many people who have sent me clips from TV shows making fun of Aquaman like I've never seen them. That's how, and that in the comics, that's how people treat Aquaman too. Like, he's a joke. He's the guy who talks to fish. Yeah, I get it. It's funny. He rides a giant seahorse, and yeah, I get it. So, like, that's how the surface treats him. And then he gets in the water, and it's like, oh, well, it's the king of Atlantis, so surely they're probably cool with him. And then he gets down there, and they hate him because he's not a pureblood. And they just call him slurs, and they're just, like, cruel to him because of who he is. He is of these two separate worlds, and both worlds are cruel to him. But when the bad guys show up, when the aliens invade, he's still there fighting the fight, saving these people who haven't been kind to him. And I loved that as a kid. I really dug that idea, and I was it has really inspired me. I think the person I am today is at least in part defined by loving Aquaman as a kid, right?
Yeah.
So, but as an adult, superheroes have actually affected my spiritual life, because my brother and I, he is also a really big comic book guy, and you know, sometimes it's hard for dudes especially to just have a real honest conversation about their faith.
Yeah.
Especially to start those conversations. It can just be uncomfortable. And as you grow into adults with your siblings, transitioning to an adult relationship, and it's hard. And the way that my brother and I started talking about our faith together was talking about Superman. And talking about the metaphors about Superman and Jesus. And not saying that Superman is Jesus, but it gave us a starting point for those conversations.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I firmly believe that's why I'm here on this podcast right now. Because what is this podcast other than taking these films that sometimes they're just silly films? This movie has an octopus that plays the drums.
Bro! Stop skipping ahead.
It's like, there's silly stuff that happens in this movie, but we still find serious things to talk about with that.
Absolutely.
So last thing with this point, how does Aquaman fit in the like Superman Jesus-y metaphor, right? So before this, like in the timeline with this movie, this happens after Justice League, right?
Right. Yep.
Before Justice League, Aquaman lived his entire life having powers. He didn't wake up with powers. Like, you see in the movie, like he's had him since he was a kid.
Yeah.
He's had this training, and all he's done with it basically is swim around place to place and find treasure. He helps some people occasionally, but mostly he's just hanging out in the ocean, being real angry at everybody. That's like he doesn't
at everybody.
Yeah, he's just living selfishly. He's not being a superhero. He's just going place to place, hanging out, living selfishly, not doing the good that he knows that he can. And then he meets Superman. And then he is inspired to be like, oh, maybe there's something I can do with my life.
Yeah.
There is a greater good that is worth fighting for. So to me, I think like if in this metaphor, if Superman is Jesus, Aquaman, the rest of the disciples are the rest of the Justice League are disciples. They're saying like, hey, I'm looking up to that guy. I'm going to try and live my life like that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Aquaman's one of the fishermen.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, cool. One of the first lines in the whole movie, and by the way, I go chronologically for those who are new here. I go chronologically with all of my points. My first point was that line, two ships destined for each other. And that really had me thinking about destiny, right? Not the game, but destiny. What is it? You were made for this. You were supposed to be doing this. And then I looked up, what does the Bible have to say about destiny? And to be honest, I looked up Habakkuk. It pointed me toward Habakkuk 2:3, and I was like, I've never been in this book. I don't know what this is about. And I was like, all right, 2:3. And it reminded me, because it says in Habakkuk 2, the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, for the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it lingers, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. And I was like, okay, I can see that. You know, we don't know our future. God is saying that, hey, you got to wait sometimes. Your destiny, your calling is not always just handed to you. And I was like, all right, but what else does the Bible have to say? So I ended up going to Romans. Where are you? Romans chapter 8, verse 28. And it says, and some of you might know this one, and we know that all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. That right there reinforced what I read in the book I had never really read before. You know, we know that God's got a plan. We might not know the plan, but then when we see it, we see the plan and we see it come together, we're like, oh, like the world sees it as, oh, that was your destiny. Yes, but also it was God's plan. Like, it didn't just happen. Like, oh, you were destined to be there. You mistaked your way into it. Nah, Doc. God was like, okay, I'm not going to show you this until like the last minute. And it's going to look amazing. But I knew it was coming. It's like, you know, when you show somebody a movie you love and you know is super dope. And you know that it's amazing. You know the parts they're going to be like, and you're like, oh no. Like Jurassic Park when the Velociraptor bursts through the vent at the top. He jumps up and tries to get the kids.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw that movie like 3 times before I went to go with my friends. And all I did at that time was stare at my friends because I wanted to see their faces. Because I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
But they did not. And it was amazing to them that the kids escaped that one thing. And I'm like, I knew that was going to happen. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
There you go.
Okay, so I want to talk about Orm a little bit. Actually, I want to talk about, there's 2 villains in this movie. They're both driven by the same thing. Okay, so there's Orm, who's Aquaman's brother, and there is Black Manta, who is my favorite villain. He's incredible. And the thing that I love about Black Manta is that unlike Lex Luthor or the Joker or Cheetah or Green Goblin, he has a real reason to hate Aquaman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good Lord, yes.
Most supervillains hate their villain by like ideological reasons. No, it's completely personal. Like, the villainy is second to wanting to kill Arthur Curry, the person. He is driven entirely by revenge. Orm, also driven for revenge. That's why he wants to take over the spirit world, or not spirit world, the surface world, because all the crud we've dumped in the ocean. By the way, Orm, if you're watching, I deeply apologize. When I was a kid and I used to just throw cans in the river. That's on me. So I wanted to talk. That reminded me of a verse that I think is pretty familiar to a lot of people at this point, which is, "You've heard it said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil. If someone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them and offer the other cheek also." Okay. So that's like pretty countercultural, right? That goes against the way that we've set up our society.
Yeah.
But it also goes against just our human nature. We want the bad guy we want him to be punished the same way that he inflicted pain, right? But the people reading listening to Jesus talk in that context, it's not just like, yeah, be nice to the people who are mean to you. It's actually quoting another verse. It's quoting Leviticus 24, which says, sorry, let me find a good place to start here. Anyone who takes a life of someone's animal must make restitution, life for life. Anyone who injures their neighbor must be injured in the same manner. Fracture for fracture, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. The one who has inflicted the injury must also suffer the same injury. That's not just be nice to people when they're mean to you. That is, be nice to people who are mean to you, even though you have every legal and societal, and you've lived your entire life living by this way of thinking, that if somebody hurts me, I get to do exactly the same kind of hurt to them. Right? Then you get to the end of the movie, and Orm says, "All right, kill me. You win." And Aquaman doesn't just spare his life because he has a no-kill rule. He doesn't just spare his life to be nice. He knows that for the rest of his rule as king, his life will be harder because he chose to spare this person. The legitimacy of his throne is going to be questioned forever. It is a real sacrifice to have mercy. And he chooses to anyway. His life is harder because of that. But that's how Jesus wants us to treat people who take an eye from us.
And the logistics of the turn the other cheek when people, okay, so if the verse says people slap you on the right side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that if I were to slap somebody on their right side, it would be using my left hand. In that society, the left hand was the predominant wiping hand, if you will. And to slap them on the right cheek, it would be a backhand. So not only were you getting hit with a poo hand, you were getting backhanded, which is even more degrading.
Yeah.
Jesus is saying that we need to humble ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Cool. All right. 28 minutes in, we're on point 2.
Hey, listen. You knew what this was.
I know exactly
what this was. We're talking Aquaman. I'm gonna ramble a little bit. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not gonna tell you how many I have until the end. So, which doesn't lean anything into how far I got.
That's true. You had like a whole thing of notes for the first 10 minutes of Coco or whatever. You had so many notes on the little short film about a kid in Mexico with no weird things happening in his life.
You're not wrong. All right. So Tom, Arthur's dad, didn't shrug off Atlanta as some crazy woman who fell off a ship wearing...
Also, can I just say, Tamora Morrison as Aquaman's dad is so lovable. It's so cute. I love them so much. It's such a cute romance.
It's so cute. It is. But he didn't shrug her off as some crazy lady, right? He brought her into his home, sat her down, cared for this strange stranger, carrying a trident that busted his TV, scared his little puppy, right? Luke 10, 25 to 37. On one occasion, an expert in the law, so a lawyer or a paralegal or a judge, somebody who was an expert in the law, could have been maybe like a pastor, preacher in today's terms, any of those things, stood up to test Jesus. Teacher, he asked, what must I do to inherit eternal life? What's written in the law, he replied. How do you read it? He answered, love your Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and all your strength, and all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. You have answered correctly, Jesus replied. Do this and you will live. But he wanted to justify himself. He was like, hey. Watch this. Who's my neighbor? This man asked Jesus, who's my neighbor? And then Jesus proceeds to tell him the parable of the Samaritan. And I don't necessarily want to say the Good Samaritan. He was just a good freaking human. Now the importance is the Samaritan would be like whoever is the lowest of the low in our communities. So for those who don't know the parable, this dude was walking down the road. He got jumped by these guys, beat half to death. They stole his stuff, and then like a Levite. All right, so this proper guy. Let's call him a pastor. All right, Pastor guy sees this guy on the side of the road. He's like, I'm gonna cross over. Right? And then, oh, that was the priest. And then a Levite, so let's say like a cop. So priest and then Levite is the cop. Both of them pass on the other side of the road. And then a Samaritan, so let's say a factory worker, right? And some people consider factory below like CEO or priest or police officer, right? He was like, yo, there's a guy on the side of the road that got beat up. I need to go help him. And this guy spent 2 days worth of wages. 2 days worth of wages to take care of this guy he didn't even know. And then the fact of the matter is, the guy that was on the side of the road was part of the Jewish nation, and his own people left him on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And he asked, hey, who was more of a neighbor to this guy? And he said, the one who had mercy on him. He said, go and do likewise. So that is what we're needing to do. And that's what Arthur's dad did. That's what Tom did.
Yeah.
Right? 1 Peter, if you guys want to look it up, 1 Peter 4:9 and Hebrews 13:2 also talk about it. Read into that. So those are verses for you guys to take a look up and continue on with that thought. All right.
Okay. So this movie is really about the idea of like becoming a king, right?
Yeah.
He already has the blood of a king. He has like everything that kind of technically makes him king, right? But he's not ready to be king. So there's a verse that I feel like is perfect for the whole arc of this movie. And that is 1 Timothy 3:3, which, so this chapter, Paul is talking to the churches, and he's talking about like, okay, so you've got your church and you're establishing leaders. You're looking for the word he uses is deacons, so people in the church will look to for leadership. And he's talking about what the qualities of a good, godly leader looks like. Somebody who's fit to be in this position, right? And he says, not given to drunkenness, not violent, but gentle, not quarrelsome, not a lover of money. Okay. So think about the first thing we see of Arthur in this movie. He's given to drunkenness, he's a lover of money, and he's given to quarreling and fighting. That's how it starts off the movie. It makes it very clear he is not here to be a superhero. He is here to be given to drunkenness, lover of money, get into some quarrels. That's what he's all about.
This is true.
But earlier, I talked about what draws me to Aquaman. I said it's the punches that he doesn't throw. Okay? There are 2 moments in this movie where Aquaman does not throw a punch. With the big sea monster, he just talks to it. And that is how he proves his worth, that he is the true king of Atlantis. This entire movie, he keeps getting into trouble because he runs headfirst into a fight. He tries to solve every problem he has with the tip of that trident right there. He doesn't know what to do with a problem that you can't poke with a stick. This is entire, like the whole time he's just like, well, if I can't punch it, then I don't know what to do about it. But through the course of this movie, maybe the most important fight ever in his life, he doesn't fight the monster. He talks to it. That's really cool.
They, and they even allude to that in the first part where he's talking to the fish.
Yeah.
Like the big, the big old shark is busting down the thing, and he doesn't run. Everybody else runs. He doesn't. He just talks to him.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay.
Easy, bro. Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first one. And the second one I already talked about is sparing his brother Orm. He chooses to choose peace in those moments. At the start of the movie, he is not fit to be the king. It's like his birthright, but that's not what's important. That's not worth having a movie about. Through the course of this movie, he becomes worthy, right? And that's what that verse is talking about a real leader can't be given to just wanting to live for money, violence, and you gotta live for something greater. Yeah. And that's what Aquaman learns to do in this movie. Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, but in Justice, when Superman takes Atlantis and drops it in Egypt, no. So that doesn't have any sort of deep meaning to it. That has to do with when you're writing a story about evil Superman, you need to think of some possible way that Atlantis doesn't immediately eviscerate Superman. Because let's be real, it's all over for evil Superman.
Because Atlantis has technology and magic, right?
Yeah, so
Drop my pen.
Aquaman always is pretty formidable, right? Like he deserves to be on the Justice League, totally away from the water. But when he's in water, his trident can pierce Superman's skin. They also have like sorcerers, and like Mara's magic totally works on Superman. Atlantis could just wipe him off the map, but which is actually so this movie is like kind of an adaptation of a story where the Justice League is more involved.
Yes. I think I've seen the animated version of it.
Yes. It's based on the same comic. So in that, Aquaman is basically it's the first moment that he accepts his title as king, because he realizes he is fighting for both the land and the sea. Because if he chooses to sit by and do nothing, it doesn't really matter who's going to win. They're going to kill a lot of people in the process. Everybody will lose. It takes one person to stand and be a leader who chooses peace first, in order to not have that happen. It's the only way everybody doesn't lose. Oh. Hey, there he is. Yep. Oh, weird.
Check. There we go. All right. All right. So they talk about early in the movie about the two worlds coexisting. And I looked up living with non-believers, because I thought coexisting, we don't want to just coexist. We want to live. We want to do life together with our brothers and sisters in Christ. And hey, what's up, Assassin? Our brothers and sisters in Christ and those that do not believe, but we want to do life together with them. And the first thing that came up, and I'll admit this one got me. This one got me, and I had to think, and I actually had to go chat with some Bible scholars in the office, folks that literally went to school for this Bible stuff, and so I did not. And this is something I want to encourage you guys to do. If you read something that you think, that doesn't sound like the Jesus I know, talk to somebody. If you got somebody quoting the Bible and using it not as to build someone up, not as to help them be who Christ has made them to be, Lem, you are my someone. Oh, I've got someone too. I got a couple of someones too, Darth. Because I will admit, I'll be the first to admit that I do not know everything. I've told you guys this before. I've not memorized the Bible. And in that way, I also don't know what it all means. So, James 4:4, and I need you guys to hear me out on this. All right? James 4:4, you adulterous people, don't you know that friendship with the world means enmity against God? Therefore, anyone who chooses to be a friend of the world becomes an enemy of God. And I was like, that doesn't quite sound like the Jesus I know. Right? So I read the whole chapter. I was like, what's going down? And between that and me still not completely getting it, I went to go talk to somebody. And I said, this is what I'm hearing. And I need you to tell me if I'm way off base here, because I don't want to talk about this if I'm way off base.
Yeah.
That's not saying, hey, if that person is not a believer, you cannot be friends with them. What they're saying is, do not become intimately involved with sin. When they're talking about the world, they're talking about what you know as sin, what you believe as a follower of Christ. This is not what Christ has commanded me to do. Do not jump in there and be like, yep, I'm gonna do it. That's what I'm gonna do. Do not let that become your buddy. Do not let that be your friend. Because that sin is the enemy of God. And you can't be a friend of sin and a friend of God.
Yeah. Is
what it's saying. And they were like, yep. Every time I've read that, that's what I've gotten. So I feel okay bringing that up and speaking to that. That person not only went to Bible college, but their parents are pastors and run a church. And so that's what I come to you with that pedigree of understanding. But I have a friend who's Muslim, but I'm Christian. We can't be friends? Assassin, I don't think you heard me. I said, the sin. Do not become intimately involved with sin. Do not be friends with sin. I have Muslim friends. 1,000% I have Muslim friends. I have friends that, when it comes to all kinds of things, we differ. We differ in opinion.
Yeah.
Socially, politically, emotionally, we differ. That is not
and
mean that
if
I
you
cannot love them.
Yeah, and if you don't have friends that you deeply disagree with on certain subjects, I think you got to talk to more people, because
Yeah, you do.
That is not a good sign. You should have people in your life that you disagree with.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing about that. It's because it's going to drive you to understand why you believe what you believe. Asking those questions. Asking, what does the Bible say about XYZ? Jesus was talking about the people that he hung out with. Honestly, his best friends were human sinners, and he's God. I mean, that's a big difference, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, and also I think that mentality, because there are absolutely people who interpret that verse in the wrong way and do shut off all connection with what they deem as unchristian.
right?
And all people who, and okay, example, like going back to the movie, like the surface pollutes the ocean all the time, right?
Yeah.
And that's a real issue. But Mara has this prejudice built up against the surface, and she never meeting somebody from the surface world has determined humans garbage, not worth talking to, don't associate with them.
Exactly.
And then she spends a little bit of time in their world, grows as a person, realizes maybe she doesn't have all of the answers. Does that excuse the pollution? No. That is still an issue. But if your response to the issue is to, I will just never talk to people I disagree with, that's a problem. That is not how you grow, how you find solutions to things.
And lovingly, open-mindedly.
Yeah.
I think that's the important, not just at them, with them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're up.
Am I?
Fourth one. Bro, I got a list too, man.
Okay, I got one more, and then I got my little rant.
We love our keychain rants.
Okay, I also was looking at James 4 for this, actually.
Shut up!
Yeah, no, seriously, I had it down in my notes before when you said this is in James 4, I was like, oh no, I gotta find another. No, different part of James 4.
Okay.
Anyone who knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is sin for them. So, in the first couple of minutes, Aquaman chooses to not remove a steel beam that is pinning down a person in a submarine. That is the most clear-cut example I could just about ever think of. If you are able to save somebody's life and choose not to, because, well, they're mean, that is just about as clear-cut as this can get. And that is a very good example, but that's what he does like the entire first act of the movie, and really what he's been doing his entire life. He sees what he could do. I mean, when you have that kind of power, what he could do, and he's choosing to just sort of hang out in the ocean, do nothing, get drunk, just fight, be drunk, do nothing. And this movie is him kind of coming around on that, right? So, the thing that really hit me with this watch through the movie was he removes debris that's pinning somebody down. Later in the movie, when he's fighting Black Manta again, they're doing their fight, and he is pausing to save people. And it's not like the movie doesn't draw a ton of attention to it, but while he's fighting Black Manta, there is like a father and daughter, and he saves the father by moving some debris off of him. And that Black Manta blasts him with an energy beam, and the dad barely is able to escape. Right? So, even though this started from a very understandable quarrel between Black Manta wants to kill Arthur for very understandable reasons.
Yes.
He almost just stopped him from saving that little girl's dad. Because he's so blinded by this pursuit of revenge, by this pursuit of violence, that when Aquaman's finally starting to break that cycle for himself, the damage is done for Black Manta. He's too blinded. He is too deep, and he doesn't even realize that he almost caused the exact pain that he's feeling to happen with somebody else. That's crazy. Yeah, so and that's not a huge thing in the movie. It's just when you've seen a movie 12 times, you start noticing little things like that.
All right.
But yeah, as the movie goes on, he spends more and more time actually trying to save people and be like a superhero or whatever, which is cool.
Nice. All right, we are almost out of time, so I'm gonna do one more. Then I'm gonna do my stupid thing, and then you can do your rant.
Okay.
All right, so my last thing, and this really encompasses the whole movie, and we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but the whole movie is about legacy. Every single aspect of this movie points to what is your legacy. Black Manta, when his dad hands him the knife, it's from his grandfather who was wronged, turned to piracy, gave it to his son, and basically said, continue on the piracy legacy.
Yeah.
Because the world will do you wrong.
Yeah.
And lovingly, the father hands it to Black Manta. In love and caring and in honor, passes this legacy of hate, or at the very nicest, at the very best, disrespect for other humans. Legacy comes into play with Arthur, right?
Oh yeah. Oh,
and the
all
whole
over
thing.
The place. Yeah.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Fast Assassin. No, we do that after second
bullet point.
Yeah, second bullet point. It's up to the end of whoever was second bullet point. So we hold off. What was I saying?
And it's even more than in the comics too, because having Jason Momoa and Tamora Morrison be Tom and Arthur, it adds there's some little nods to their Pacific Islander legacy as well, like he chants some Maori, which is really cool, and it just continues this theme of legacy and living up to the people that came before you.
Yes.
It's really cool.
And then Arthur leaves Manta Senior, I don't know his name, but Manta Senior for dead. And that starts the legacy of Manta trying to destroy Aquaman.
Yeah.
Continuously trying to destroy Aquaman. So in Joshua, chapter 4, verse 4, it says, so Joshua called together the 12 men he had appointed from the Israelites, one from each tribe. And he said to them, go over before the ark of the Lord your God into the middle of the Jordan. Each of you is to take up a stone on his shoulder, not a pebble, but a stone on your shoulder. And you know that's hefty, according to the number of tribes of the Israelites. Hey, Logo, how's it going? Welcome. One from each tribe. He said to them, go. Each of you is to take up a stone on his shoulder according to the number of tribes of the Israelites, to serve as a sign among you in the future when your children ask you, what do these stones mean? You tell them that the flow of the Jordan was cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. When it crossed the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. These stones are to be a memorial to the people of Israel forever. All right. I do not interpret
So that I may
dreams.
talk, squirrel.
So that's a great question. I do not know. I'm an unreligion person. Well, Sir Hatbay, I think that, like, I can't tell you the meaning of it, but I can tell you, if you feel like that dream was from God, I'm not the one you need to be asking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean that, like,
And if you want, like, if you feel like you're getting an answer, and we can talk about that, absolutely, you can join us in the Discord. But yeah. But I mean, I think that Paul might have has a decent point. Maybe to love people more in your life. Look at the life of Jesus. Maybe that's what the dream is telling you. It's just like, hey, look at the life of Jesus, and what can you do to be like him? Not to be him, but to be like him, to emulate what he does. Paul, can you put Discord in the chat for me? That'd be fantastic. By the way, Logo was at the Quake in Pittsburgh. Isn't that right, Logo?
oh, sick. That's awesome.
We got you. Thinking I don't know who you are. Y'all think I don't know. But yeah, that's the legacy. And so we have to ask ourselves, what is the mark that God wants us to make on the world? What's our legacy in Christ? Yes, sir. I got caught. Yeah, I got you. But yeah, what is our legacy in Christ? So, yeah. There you go. It was fun.
Yeah, I love that.
Logo, you are entered to win one of the PC games. So, just because you were at the Quake, you should come back this year. I don't know if I can make it back. I don't know. But it is definitely. Hey, also, I think ! Contact. If you guys want to get in contact with me, is it contact? I thought it was. Oh, nope. It's ! Reach out.
Thought it was just like a mean prank to be
Yeah,
like,
there it
if
is.
you want to get in contact, ! Contact does nothing. So
No, there's my email address. Why don't I write it down? Because I already have it where I can activate it. But I just want people to know. I have to say, okay, Paul, if I write it down on one page, I'm not gonna have that page forever. That's why I have it here.
yeah.
Shut it, Paul. Okay, so that's my last serious thing, because we got to get going in now. But my not so serious point, the point that I just want to bring up, just for sake of bringing it up, guys. Octopus Drummer
It's so good.
That is all.
It's so good. It makes me okay. Like my bar for this movie going into it was so low because I just need Aquaman to be swimming around and just be Aquaman, and I'm gonna love it. Like I have such,
Yes.
like I don't need a lot.
Yes.
But and I was like, okay, yeah, DC movies are usually like pretty dark and gritty, and that'll be okay. And then you get in there, and it's bright and it's colorful, and they're running around on fish, and they are like, they're not pretending like they're not fish. It's awesome. There's like waves coming out of his head like the old cartoon.
Yes.
And then there's an octopus drummer, which is so good.
Drummer, bro.
It's so good. Do they train an octopus
To drum.
from birth, or
Well,
does
here's
an
the thing.
octopus?
The octopi are insanely smart.
Yes. So did they find an octopus? And did they teach the octopus drums, or did the octopus be like, "Hey guys, I also drum on the side. If you have any need for, like, if you have any like battles to the death coming up, I'd love to get in there and like DJ a little bit."
Oh yeah, Logo! You got Overwatch 2. Let's go.
Okay.
All right, so
That's actually
now,
adjacent to.
okay, guys. Now it's time for your key chant raid rant before we get into what movie we're doing next time, and who got closest to my my time.
Yeah. Okay. So
Without going over.
Little micro rant first. Why does Mara know how to do so much land stuff, but not other stuff? Like she eats a rose, like she thinks it's like candy or food or something, but also she knows how to run a boat. Why does she know how to sail? Or like she plays the flute. You can't. There's so many instruments you could play underwater. A woodwind instrument doesn't work without wind.
Maybe there's an equivalent.
I mean, I guess, but
Right?
like, what are the odds? It seems crazy to like.
2 words, sir. Octopus drummer.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, but my big thing was mostly just I feel like we should just be more land themed because all of the people in all the kingdoms of Atlantis are so into the ocean theme. I love it so much. Like they all wear like fish themed armor and like their like clothes are made to look like fish scales and like crabs and they don't look like fishes. They just are people, but they put on like fish clothes.
Yes.
That's awesome. I just think that like
I
but the
noticed it with
equivalent
the
of that
red
would be
the red guards. They had like one big arm, one big hand.
yes, like a crab, which is great. And I just think like we should do that too, because that's the equivalent. Is like we should just like there's a part where Orm is being like the currents in your home have turned sour, and it's like you guys are so into this whole ocean theme. I love it. We should talk more about how we're on land and that's cool. Like because if we come in contact with them and then we're like, yeah, these are the Navy SEALs, they're gonna be like, okay, that's our thing. That's super weird for you guys to be naming your stuff off. We don't have like these are the dogs. Like no, we went with a crab shit because we're the ocean guys. I feel like it's rude for us to just appropriate seals. Also, there's just so much stuff that makes me so happy. Like, their throne rooms have stairs. They all swim.
But they have stairs.
They have stairs. They have such a like. But I love it so much because somebody spent time on those stairs.
We don't have to use them.
Completely a choice.
But
they didn't have to use them at all. But also, because the whole thing is that like Atlantis used to be a kingdom in like Rome and then it sank. So I feel like somebody who was like the stairs guy just was like, well, I'm pretty close to retiring. I'm not going to learn how to make a new thing. I'm just going to keep making stairs. I know we don't technically need them. So that's my thought of like why they still have stairs.
It's Joseph the stairs guy.
He's like, okay, this was messed up that nobody needs stairs anymore. It seemed like such a secure job.
Dang it, Joseph. We don't need stairs. I know, but I'm 2 weeks from retirement. All right. So let us, before we get into how long we left, you picked Aquaman, right? Or did I pick Aquaman?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because I don't think I would have picked Aquaman. If I'm completely honest, I mean, I had a good time with it, but
yeah. Oh no. To be clear, I don't think that this is like the world's greatest movie. I just love it. Right. I just love it so much because it's my guy and he's swimming around with his octopus drummer friend.
All right. Let's see here. We went DC. We've done some Marvel stuff. You know, I have so many movies that I haven't even seen in a long time or ever. Like, I own movies that I've never seen.
Really? Why?
Yeah, we just picked them up on a whim, and I just haven't gotten to watch them yet.
See, I just don't own a lot of movies.
Bro. Yeah, I'm looking at my Microsoft movies and TV right now, and I don't think it tells you how many you have, but I've been scrolling this whole time. If that tells you anything. Oh, I just saw that. We can't.
I do actually own a DVD of Aquaman, though. It's one of like 3 movies I actually own.
You know what? How about, what if we do a movie that I would not have really picked for myself at all, but I own it because my family wanted to own it.
All right.
In the year of our Lord 2020, they created or released Scoob. I don't remember this movie at all. Like, I remember nothing about this movie. It's PG.
Oh my gosh, I forgot this came out.
I don't even know if it's, hold on, let me start it up. I don't know if it's animated or if it's live action. I need to mute it. Oh, it's computer animated. Yeah, I want to watch this. Let's go.
All right, Scoob it is.
Scoob next week, you guys. Let's see. We have. Ooh, it will be on Wednesday.
All right, sounds good.
I'm writing it down right now. So it's a Stone Age film, says Paul. It was literally less than 3 years ago, Paul. All right. So, as far as how far I got into the movie goes, David said 2 hours and 11 minutes. That's the whole movie minus credits. Leighton says 47 minutes. Beastie said 37 minutes and 22 seconds. That's right where the garbage washes up. Because he's saying that I'm garbage. Austin says an hour and 3 minutes. Paul said 27 minutes. Galaxy said 2 hours, sorry. Darth said 17 and a half minutes. And I got 1 hour and 16 minutes in.
That's not bad. Hey, that is not bad. You know what? I think that people might be expecting me to like explode and be like, I get all angry and everything. No, sir. I got more than an hour.
Yeah.
I will gladly take it. I was worried. My fear was that you were never going to meet Arthur Curry. That it was just going to be about Tamora Morrison, the kind-hearted lighthouse keeper. how he meets a girl, and that's the end.
They live happily ever
So
after.
I am thrilled with an hour and 16 minutes.
Lem didn't even get to the water.
No, he got to the water.
So Lem took the chair, but managed to escape. Oh man. Yeah.
Wait. I actually want to see. Wait, when did you say it was? 116?
Yeah, 1 hour 16 minutes.
Okay, so to be clear, you got far enough into the movie to see the octopus drummer, and then you were like, I'm good. That's awesome. That is fantastic. That is right after the fight. You actually got to the part where you realized there was no more octopus drummer, and you were like, I've gotten what I need out of this movie. I respect that so much.
Oh, so Austin.
Fantastic.
Austin wins the PC game today. Buddy, if you were still here, reach out to me. Let me know what you want me to do. I know you don't have a PC, but sometimes you like to give me to give them away to others. Or maybe you got a PC and you need a new game. So let me know, bro. Oh man. I have so much. Okay, you want to know how many points I had? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 minus octopus drummer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Beastie, Austin won. Everyone else was really low or over.
Yeah. No, but for real though, like I have movies that I'm like, yeah, I think everybody should watch. I don't really feel that way about Aquaman. It just makes me happy. You know what I mean? Like it's just a good time, and that's all I needed out of this.
So that I may talk, squirrel.
Having 11 points linked to squirrel. I'm not gonna lie, I did get a little squirreled. I did. But yeah, So tomorrow, you guys, make sure you go to the Discord and vote for what we're doing tomorrow. As of right now, let me double check to see what you guys have chosen. Where is the poll? Text channels, games, poll channel. Right now, it is even with Battle Royale, Rocket League, and Save the World. And you can change your vote at any time, like I am right now, because somebody voted for Save the World. So 2 votes for Save the World. I actually voted for Battle Royale, but somebody else did the thing. So if somebody else is going to vote for Save the World, I'm voting for Save the World. All right. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Remember, Jesus loves you. So do I. So do these guys. And always leave people better than you found them. Peace. Bye, everybody. Bye, we love you. Come back tomorrow where we kick husk butt. Bye.